Hello and welcome to another video. This is Maruna's manga channel and today we are going to be storyboarding a section for the manga I am working on. For those of you who are new, this channel is about me, a newbie, trying to make my own manga from scratch. I mainly started this channel because I wanted to give myself some kind of accountability by showing the progress to everyone and not giving up halfway. But I also hope that I can inspire people like me who are always on the fence about starting their own manga and comics. So yeah, I hope you can give it a go as well. For those of you who are interested, please check out my previous videos because nothing is going to make much sense with this video on its own. But yeah, no, you can explore how I created my character and plot and themes in my previous videos. Thank you. So I want to start off with a scene with Lucas and Poppy, and they are trying to track down the monster that attacked Stella, but they are struggling and they are also noticing lack of monsters in the general area. And then I want to do a super quick little montage of Harper and Stella just chilling out and spending a couple of days together while Stella recovers from the injury that she got in the previous videos. The next scene is going to be Stella going back to work, but then she's going to get quickly overwhelmed by the stress and her workload, and these black tendrils are going to come up just around her. The next scene is Harper, who is still staying at Stella's place, but then she gets a phone call from Lucas telling her to look at the news, which she finds out there was a fire at the office building that Stella works in. And by the time Harper gets to the scene, most of the fire is under control, and when she sees Lucas, he tells her that the fire was most likely started by a monster. And then Harper, from the corner of her eyes, sees Stella in the distance in maybe like a building next door, and then she confronts Stella, who is in a state of shock, but the wolf monster thing is next to her. Let's get started.
Okay, so page 1, I want to start off with Lucas and Poppy looking around the city to try and find that monster. Just because we're changing scenes, we're changing locations, I think it's smart for clarity to start off with an establishing shot. These boxy looking buildings represent the city. It's probably going into nightfall, so when I shade it eventually, I'll make it obvious that this is nighttime. And I want to do a bit of an interesting shot here, like a big down shot on Lucas. He's sort of in an alleyway, looking up at spiderwebs. Because, you know, his monster is a spider, he has a special ability that allows him to communicate with spiders. And he can ask them if they've seen the monsters and things like that. So that's the spider webs. Poppy would probably be on his shoulder. A shot that he's talking to a spider, just to make it obvious that that is something he could do. And then maybe because Lucas is hearing from the spiders that there hasn't been any monsters around here, I just want to, maybe he is typing on his phone to tell Harper that, because they are just because they're trying to figure it out together. So thought bubbles. He's probably thinking something like, this is weird, I've been looking for days and haven't found anything. Okay, so that's page 1. Page 2, I want to he's also still commenting something's not right. That sure, he can't find the monster he's looking for, but then he can't find any monsters. And there's usually, even if it's just little ones, they're around. So I want to do his thought bubbles, thinking that. Go his head, Poppy. And he's sort of at the entrance of an alleyway, and he's looking up at the city. And I am finishing off Lucas's scene with just a close-up of his eyes or face, probably thinking something like, because the next scene is going to go back to Harper, I would like him to think of Harper. It's just something like, I hope she's doing okay with Stella. Just a panel to make it not so confusing when we jump into the next scene with Harper and Stella. Okay, so I want like a super quick little montage scene here. I feel like I've spent so much time on the last video with Harper and Stella, just, you know, bonding over cooking and music and things like that. So these 3 panels are more going to be day by day what they were up to, just while Stella recovers from her injuries. How about something like Harper is helping out Stella cleaning her room because it was so messy, and Stella's like, I'm so sorry. Maybe a shot of Harper changing Stella's bandaged arm. This is probably representing around 3 days of time passing, so not too long. This is an awful drawing, but another shot of Stella trying to stomach the food Harper cooked for her, but she is struggling because it's so spicy. So that's Stella in front of super spicy food, and Harper is at the back bringing her more spicy food. I don't know, just a quick, like, silly little, like, shots, 3 shots of them spending a couple of days. Okay, so that's page 2. Page 3 is another little time skip. And Stella is going back to work. So we can start off with an insert of Stella putting her bag onto her shoulder, and she's dressed in her office clothes kind of outfit, and she's at her door about to go back to work. She's actually looking quite refreshed and happy, I guess, because she had a few days off, so she's not as stressed. She's about to go off to work, and she's probably just turned around and saying, I'm off then, to Harper. Maybe I might do like a big shot to just get a few more dialogue in, but in one big panel rather than cutting up to too many close-ups. So that is Stella standing at the door. That's the dining table. And Harper is sitting at the dining table. Sorry, this is very scribbly. It's like they just had breakfast together. I haven't figured out what this room looks like yet, so I do need to do that. Anyway, so this is Harper and Stella. And there's going to be a few dialogue here. And it will be something like Harper asking, are you sure you're feeling better? Which Stella's like, yeah, I haven't had a proper break like this in ages. And then Harper is probably also going to tell her that she'll probably leave tonight because she heard from Lucas that there wasn't any sign of monsters and it's been okay for the last few days, so it's probably fine. Stella will be like, oh cool, I'll see you tonight then, or something like that. So that's page 3. Page 4, I just want because he had the big shot, I'll just end with one close up from a close up each from both of them, with Harper saying something like, "I'll see you tonight," and Stella being, I think Stella has opened up quite a bit to Harper now, so she waves her bye as she goes out the door. And slightly ominously, because things are about to go really bad for Stella today, I just want to end on the door closing. I don't know, like foreboding almost. And the next panel will be an establishing shot of Stella's workplace. I like the idea of using an extreme upshot here of the buildings towering over the sky. Just to, you know, give the, I don't know, I want to give the building quite oppressive almost. I will do the perspective properly on the rough and clean pass, but yeah. So an establishing shot. And then, okay, so the next couple of pages, it's gonna be Stella. Stella is about to reach her stress peak. So I just want to slowly, gradually show that by her drawings. So on the next panel, I want to do a shot of Stella standing in the elevator. So if this is an up shot, this will be a down shot, just to show how uncomfortable Stella is getting of going back to work. You know how like the feeling of like you had a few days off from work and that almost makes it harder? Because like when you have a really stressful job, that is, and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much I didn't want to come back. I just want to make, so she's like, okay, so this is supposed to be her in a crowded lift, and she's just looking a bit uncomfortable and claustrophobic. Yep, so that is page 4. Page 5. The first panel will be of Stella walking to her desk. Her body language, she's already starting to get a bit hunched. And we just see on the foreground all the people at their desks, and in the back I want to add probably sound effects of no one's talking, but it's just keyboard chatter. Basically everyone is at their desks working like robots. This is her, she comes to her desk and she's pulling her chair out. And just a quick insert of her expression here, but just with her mouth. Because her desk is, this is an extreme down shot of, so that's, I want to do a shot of Stella looking down at her desk, which is, I'm not too sure, I'm either wanting to make her desk completely overflowed with paperwork that she has to do, like to the, it's like a mountain, it's like literally a mountain of paperwork that's almost absolutely impossible for a single person to go through. I had this idea that what causes Stella's stress to peak is that maybe she's being bullied by her work colleague or her bosses, her work colleagues or her boss or something. So in that case, this could have been like, there could be like a mess, like it's actually rubbish and stuff on her desk. And then, I don't know, I haven't actually put in any sign of her being bullied previously when she's been at work, so that's like, if I am gonna go with that route, I have to add that into the rest of the story. I don't know, I'm just playing around with the idea of that because she is about to lose it. Okay, sorry, that's page 5. Page 6, her boss is going to walk past and Stella is sitting at her seat in front of all the rubbish or paperwork, and as her boss walks past. So the boss, as I have done in the start of this story, I'm not really going to show his face, but Stella asks him, I don't know, I think she's going to say something like, she's not supposed to have this much work because technically she used her sick leave to, because she was injured, and that's why she took a few days off from work. And for them to pile up this much work when she was sick is ridiculous. So basically she's saying like, hey, like what is all this? I used my sick leave for the last few days. And the boss person is just like, ugh, because he is not a nice person. So, and he said this at the start of the story as well, but he basically, I don't know, I haven't decided what the dialogue will be here, but he has to say something pretty mean. I mean, he called her useless at the start of the story, so it'll be something in the lines of that. Yeah, but basically he's just tells her that she has to do all of it. If we're going with the she's getting bullied route, Stella would actually ask him like, what is all this rubbish on my desk? Or and then he would be like, it's your mess, you should clean it up or something, because I don't know, he's probably one of the people that did it. So this is a down shot on Stella, who is just, maybe it's more like this, who is just shocked at whatever she is told here. Why don't you just quit or something? Anyway, basically, he has to say something really mean. I'll decide what that is later. And Stella visibly looks upset. Okay, so that is page 6. Page 7, so this is the scene where Stella loses it and the black wolf monster thing is going to come out of her. I'm actually not going to show the black monster like doing anything right here because I'm gonna make that into a reveal in the next bit. It will be just a close-up on Stella's mouth. We can't see her eyes because she's just starting to just emotionally go to a dark place. Maybe a close-up on her hands, which is just on her desk or her keyboard of her laptop or something. I don't know, maybe it could be clenched into a fist, almost shaking. So I might do a blacked out panel here, but just sort of leave it, sort of put a line, just like one line, telling us where her mental state is at. And maybe she, you know, when you're really, really stressed and you sort of wish upon people things that you don't really wish upon to them, but you do in this moment because you're really stressed. So Stella's just like, I wish this place burns to the ground or something. You know, a bit messed up. And then we will see Stella at her desk and her chair. Her hair is covering her eyes. And then the black miasma of like the monster starts to apparate around her because it's about to come out and grant her wish. Yeah, that looks dramatic. So that is page 7. Page 8 is going to be back on Harper, whom is oblivious as to what is happening at the moment. So she is being a really nice flatmate or like a friend to Stella at the moment, and she's just cooking food, curry maybe, that looks nice and spicy. I don't know, she's just about to, she's taste testing it and wondering if she should add more chilies in it or something silly like that. But then her phone rings and it is, so she picks it up. It is Lucas. So she's like, hey Lucas. And he's telling her to look at the news, and she's like, the news? And then she turns the TV on. She still has the phone in her hand. That's the remote control. She turns the TV on and that's Harper in the foreground. And on the news, we see a building, the one we saw earlier, had a fire. It's the TV talking. Okay, so that's page 8, and the next couple of panels is going to be of Harper rushing to that place. So maybe we can add a shot of her feet running, another shot on her face, and she is running to the site. I want to do a wide establishing shot here of Harper arriving to the place. Like, this needs to be a good proper establishing shot. This is going to be a really hard drawing to do, but the idea is I want it to be, she either just rounded a corner on a building of a street and it's revealed that she came to the fire site. There has to be probably a pretty big wide upshot, or we can't really see that it's the right building. Okay, so I want to make it that the fire has actually been mainly extinguished by the fire ambulance, from the fire brigade, and there's also an ambulance and police. So basically just a lot of things are happening in this panel, but to show that the place is under control. The building hasn't collapsed, but there is we see a lot of people on stretchers. We see police people, and the fire brigade still probably just hosing down the building probably. Anyway, just in general, this panel is going to be quite chaotic, but it has to show what's happening. So that is going to be page 9. Okay, so page 10. Okay, so in this section, there's going to be a tiny bit of exposition of the world and who Harper is, because Harper is basically, she's just going to barge into where everything is happening. I don't know, would there be security tape if there was like a fire? I don't know. Maybe like a police tape kind of thing, and she just comes right into it. And then there's going to be the police officers who are sort of controlling the area. And one of them is going to be, hey, don't come in, child. And then there is going to be another police officer telling that police officer that, hey, it's fine. She's one of them, the Ord Foundation. Or one of them from Ord or something like that. So I want to add that exposition to acknowledge that the government does know what Ord is and everything. And the next panel is of Harper going up to the stretchers or the people who's about to be taken to the hospital. So she's basically looking for Stella. And then she is called by Lucas, who was already there. And Harper is like, what happened? Where is she? Is Stella okay? You know, all that stuff. Sorry, these panels are getting really little, so I might just push that up a bit. To which Lucas answers, I haven't seen her. I haven't seen her, and so far no one is killed. That's an important point for later. But he tells her that this fire was probably caused by the monster. Okay, so that is page 10. Okay, so page 11. Harper is confused, maybe. And she's like, what does that mean? Because I think they both know what happened, that it was Stella who did it. Lucas is, as in it's obvious even to the audience now. And it's obvious to everyone really, but Harper, I guess, just doesn't quite want to believe it yet. So Lucas is like, you know what I mean. And here I want to add a close-up of Harper's eyes, which, I don't know, if I can, I want to sort of indicate that, yeah, she totally understands what Lucas is saying. But also, I don't know, this is like a film thing, but I find it really easy when you have like a very close close-up of someone's eyes and making the very next shot or panel, in this case, that character's view, that character's point of view shot. So this is Lucas's shoulder, but then Harper sees in the distance behind him, in like a car park next to the building. It could have been the officer's car park, but it was just in the next building over. She sees a person. It is very obviously Stella, who has her back to her. And she's just like walking away. And page 12. So basically Harper knows what's happening and she really wants to go and talk to Stella on her own without Lucas, because basically she still wants to double check with Stella that if she was the one who caused the fire. So she tells him a fib, or like she just tells him to maybe can he stay here to just make sure Stella's not around, and she would go and look around the vicinity for the monster. She basically she just needs to say something to get away and from him and go to the car park, which he is clearly a bit like so suspicious. So that's just a shot on Lucas, who sort of definitely knows what she's trying to do, but lets her go anyway. And then the next couple of panels, I want to add a series of shots of just Harper going up to that car park. Sorry, that's one more shot of just Lucas looking at her go. Maybe just an insert of her feet going up some stairs, and she is coming out to one of the floors on the car park. Well, the one that she saw Stella on. I definitely need to get some kind of car park references here. Yeah, so that is page 12. So page 13. I'm almost like taking this little scene of Harper going up to the car park a bit slow, because it's sort of like the Harper just she's walking past some cars. There's just some cars on the other side. Close up of Harper saying, Stella, I'm glad you're okay. Because she is sitting against the wall on the side of the car park. She has her head in her arms. I'll also probably add Harper in the shot here as well. Something like this. Maybe some cars. Yep, so that's page 13. Page 14. I'll start with Harper trying to communicate with Stella. She'll probably ask something like, are you hurt anywhere? Stella is. She's not showing her face because she's shocked at the things that just happened. Sorry, that's supposed to be Stella with her head in her arms. And she's like, Harper, did you know? So here I want to add a big shot of the monster, the wolf monster. Add a bit of a profile. And the last page for today is going to be a big panel of, so this is Stella still on the ground. She might have looked up at this point, but in front of her is the big monster, which is sort of standing in front of her. It's almost like it's protecting her. And I want to add a line from Stella here basically saying, did you know it was me? And we'll end with Harper's expression, not replying, but like, yeah, she sort of knew. Okay, so that's page 15, the last page for today. Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for today's section. This section is honestly filled with so much details, like police, the fire brigade, the ambulance, this car park. There is a lot of visual details that I need to figure out properly when I start roughing it all out or cleaning it all up. But I'm pretty happy with how everything flows. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Okay, so on my next video, which is going to be the last section for this storyboarding videos, it's going to be the climax of my story, and there's going to be a big action scene and some emotional catharsis, so I hope I'll see you there. So please, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!